on the program, we've got Senator Ayo Arise, who is a former chairman of the Senate Committee on Privatization here in Lagos. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let me even talk about some of the media concerns before we delve into the recommendations. There are those who believe that, wait a minute, they thought that the party had said the report of that last confab by the previous administration perhaps should just stay in the history, in the library, that's where it belongs. And then the party, some use the word suddenly, comes up with this after they have said, well, true federalism and restructuring is not top priority, is not not topmost in the agenda of the party. And then, out of 68 parties, so if APC comes up with this, do they expect the country, all the other political parties, to subscribe to their recommendations?
Why not? I mean,
because they didn't with the last one. Why would people subscribe to this one? 1 year to elections, by the way.
Well, let's put it this way. The last one was submitted to President Jonathan. He didn't act on it. So
he didn't?
No.
But
if he did, he would have sent it to, for approval or ratification through the National Assembly. Now, but because of the election, maybe he didn't see the urgency, and maybe...
Is it that he didn't act on all of them, or because there are reports that he was dealing and acting on some of those recommendations, and the ones that the executive couldn't handle, they were going to send it to the National Assembly at the time?
If he acted on any, and such were gazetted, nobody will be discussing whether there was any action or whether it was kept in the coolers or not. They expected this government because the APC government inherited that document. And
did they?
Of course, they inherited it. It was submitted to the, in the presidency.
What was their response to it?
No, the issue is the president came in. He had all these issues that he was attending to. And the party, during their campaign and in their manifesto, they had promised Nigerians a form of restructuring.
Yeah, but what was the party's response to the one you said they inherited?
Well, the party didn't have to respond to anything. It was the business of PDP at that time to ensure that this the recommendation of the confab was actually implemented. They did not implement it. And there have been several such committees or associations in the past.
So, but did the APC consider that report even worthy of having a look at it, let alone implementing? Because there's no reference.
But you know that the APC did not even participate. You know,
was it a political? But was it a political party?
As a political party? No, it was set up by the president.
But there were Nigerians,
of course,
who participated.
Of course, just like you have Nigerians that came out with this proposal.
Yeah.
So for me, I look at it that it's not about who did what, but where are we now? Is this what Nigerians are looking for?
Sorry,
this is what we've been agitating for so long.
If you say it's not about who did what,
yes,
some will say that's not the case because it sounds contradictory. If it's really not about who did what, why didn't your party deem it fit to look at that report and find out, okay, let's continue from there, expunge whichever ones Nigerians will not like, and pick it up from there and move on?
Won't you agree that this is what they just did?
Isn't this a duplication of what the 2014
Now, this
is
is what the party has come up with. They went through all the nooks and crannies of this country. And I can assure you that one of my reports in this day, way back in October last year, a number of these issues were tried in there. So they listened to Nigerians. The president listened. I said, hard choices that the president had to make. And I spoke on my thoughts on this restructuring. Spoke on the local government, spoke on the state police, and I actually sent this to this committee. And so everybody had the opportunity of participating.
Okay, if I could jump in again. Yeah. When you said the president spoke about this matter, but let's not be quick to forget that in one of his presidential broadcasts, when he had said restructuring is within the purview of the National Assembly.
Very good. And that's why this report is going to the National Assembly. So they will have to ratify it. Once it's ratified, it becomes a part of our Constitution.
Did we, because Gimba's question was, I mean, isn't this a duplication? Why didn't you just pick up the former reports and look at it and feel, well, National Assembly, if Nigerians want you to look into this, well, look into it and do with it what you will.
Well, if we look at it, if we keep on thinking about why did we not do this, we will never move on. Well, during Baba Obasanjo's time, you remember that it was the third term issue that scuttled all the recommendations that the committee at that time put together. A number of these discussions happened there. Then the Yar'Adua Jonathan era came in. So there was no discussion on it any further. The same thing. Now that the former president, Jonathan, could not get that conferred report to the National Assembly for ratification, and nothing was done about it. These people are taking what they feel is germane to the needs of this country.
But not from that report.
It could be, there could be some of these things in that report as well, because this has been an ongoing discussion. Every Nigerian knows the level of insecurity we have. There must be a solution. So the state police, people have been agitating for it.
Yeah, but you know...
And that is something that's come up.
What would you say to... Because some think that... They think the reason why the party didn't take up that former recommendations from the previous administration was because the party didn't even subscribe to this in the first instance. They think, oh, okay, it's just getting to election, so the party wants to bring this up so they can see if perhaps Nigerians will look the way of the party and say, okay, well, they're beginning to do what we have been talking about all along, and so maybe we should pander towards them.
Well, even if that is the reason to do something that is good, I don't think that requires any criticism. Because if that is what we need to get us moving, this local government issue, even while I was in the Senate, the local government listing has no place in any constitution that we've studied. So this thing, the courage that the APC had demonstrated, and which I believe once the president and the National Assembly accede to this and the president signs it, Nigeria would have gained more than 20 years of progress.
It does seem to strike one that, do you think that the 2014 confab was good enough to address some of these concerns that we're facing in the country today?
Well, the discussions we've been having is how to make this country better. And every confab or every committee had addressed, by and large, many of these issues. But at the concern of the APC as a party, in terms of the 2014 confab, is the fact that some parties actually boycotted. They were not a part of that
boycotted the 2014
some
confab?
Yes, some were not. I think a large number of the APC stalwarts were not carried along at that time. Or maybe they refused to be carried along. So,
what about now? Which other political party participated in this one?
Now, it's not even about political party.
Because you made reference...
It's about the solution.
But because I'm picking up from where you made reference that some boycotted, some participated, but this one is only the APC.
When you're coming into government, you have your policies. You must ensure that you get it to a logical conclusion. If at the time that confab was set up in 2014 and election was coming up in 2015, the PDP, people saying that this is for political gains now, people could have turned around then and say, oh, they are doing this confab to gain some level of credibility.